An analogy I think that works best for Pokemon is, the gifted kid. When you're in elementary school, it's kind of easy to breeze through things. You're also, people look up to you, they praise you. You're so smart, and you're getting all these good grades as well. It's easy as hell. First grade, second grade, third grade, you're getting nothing but A's and B's, mainly A's. Like you're going crazy in there. But then, middle high school comes. Now your grades start to sink. Now you actually got to study. You got to try. What? I can't just dump the information I learned in class on this quiz and then forget about it later. Like I have to actually learn this stuff. Like I have to raise my hand and participate. I can't just be quiet and sit in class and think about other things I want to do when I get home. I can't just sit around and do my work last minute and still get a good grade on it, still do amazing on it. Yeah. Pokemon's just like me for real. Yeah. Pokemon's just like me for real. Hello everyone and welcome back to Ethical Gaming. Welcome to our second to last episode. On this episode, we're just going to be talking about the state of Pokemon. I wanted to start with that little analogy in the beginning just to kind of relate Pokemon to myself. It's not really the overarching theme of the video, but also at the same time, it's something to keep in your head. It's just something to keeping the wrinkles up there. Before we start, these are my friends. These are my friends. Yes. What the fuck? Get out of the fuck! I am so sorry for that interruption. What the fuck? As you couldn't tell, I really love Pokemon. In fact, I put them in my world. I have two of my Pokemon right here. I got a Trico and I got a Xatu. Two of my favorite Pokemon. Don't mind Xatu chewing on the spoon. I don't know what's wrong with him, honestly. Trico, he's the goat. He's the goat. Look at him over there. That's my goat. That's my goat right there. What the hell are you eating? What are you eating? That's trash. Those are leftovers. I know it's good for battle, but bro, that's fucking disgusting. You've had that for the past 2 hours. In this video, I want to talk about the state of Pokemon currently and just kind of give my thoughts and just talk about things I like. The last two videos, this one and the next one, which, I'm excited for the next one. I'm hoping I can put a lot of effort into it, or more effort than usual. But these two videos are near and dear to me. This one, episode 7, and the next one, episode 8, near and dear to me. And this one, we're talking about Pokemon. Let's not waste any more time. Let's just talk about Pokemon, how they're doing right now, and my hopes, my expectations, and some worries I have. A brief history on Pokemon's development. I'm just kind of going off of memory here. Pokemon had a pretty rough development. Developed by Game Freak, and beforehand, they were doing magazines and stuff. They were an indie studio. They were doing their own thing. They were having fun. And eventually, things happened, and it led them to Nintendo and them partnering up to make Pokemon. It wasn't originally a partner up. Maybe it was. I'm trying to remember. God, yeah. Maybe I should rewatch that video and do a little bit more research. It was a tough process. Miyamoto even came in to kind of chaperone the whole thing. But some other people came in as well. I think one of the people from Mother 3 even gave assistance. Not certain on that. Don't quote me. It was a process, to say the least. It was pretty hard. But eventually, they were able to do it, and they pumped the game out and released it to the public. It was long, it was arduous, and even a lot of Game Freak employees left during the process because they just weren't sure of its success. People were honestly thinking it was doomed to fail. But they were able to release it to the public, and we all know the story. I got you, baited you. Nah, it actually wasn't. People there, it wasn't selling like hotcakes. It wasn't. When it first released in Japan, it did not sell like hotcakes, and not a lot of people were getting into it. It still made pretty decent sales, but it wasn't anything crazy. And so Nintendo, they were like, damn, pack up our losses, you know. Game Freak was like, fuck, damn it. We really want to have some impress on for Big Daddy Nintendo. That's definitely not what they were like, but you know, I'm just spitballing. But then a miracle happens. Well, it's not really a miracle, it's by design, or unintentional design probably. So you know how when games release, you know, they have a like the game peaks in player base and, you know, people buying when it first comes out, and then it slowly goes down and down, you know, tapers down. That's just the nature of games. Same thing with movies and such, or any media. But with Pokemon, something weird happens. It just keeps going up. It keeps going up. It keeps going up. It's flying off the shelves more and more. It's getting faster and faster. And it's just like, it's due to the nature of the game. The game insists that you trade with your friends. Hey, get the game so we can play together. It encourages that multiplayer. It's a, like, I wish I grew up around those times. I wish I did. Trying to learn about the world of Pokemon on your little device in your pocket, taking it to school, and like your friend has the game as well, trading Pokemon, catching Pokemon. That shit sounds so much fucking fun. Like, I'm not saying those aspects aren't there now, but it's not the same as it was back then. Like, I feel like the closest we got to it nowadays is with Pokemon Go and Legends Arceus. Because those were like the two games I can think off the top of my head where I was like actively like my friends were actively like coercing together to really try and catch them all and, you know, be the very best. Those are the only two games I remember that really happening. Yeah, but Pokemon was a hit. It was a slam dunk, and it spread like fucking wildfire. There's a reason why there's a thing. There is a reason why Poke Fever exists, and I am, god damn, I'm gonna die from it soon. I've played the original Red and Blue games, specifically Pokemon Blue on my Game Boy Color, and even back then, when I was in high school, I could see the same sparks that they did. Yeah, it wasn't the same because not everybody around my school was talking about it, but I'm never gonna forget the encounter where I was in an auditorium, right? Not paying attention to jack shit, but, you know, the lights were a little bit on, so I was able to see, like, barely see my Game Boy Color. And I find this cave out in the middle of the ocean, you know, the Seafoam Islands, I believe that's what they're called. And I go into the cave, and I'm running around in there, accidentally solve the puzzle. I don't remember the puzzle being that hard at all. I just kept pushing rocks and going on ice. But I find Articuno. I did not even know that motherfucker was in there. And I caught him. I caught him by spamming Sand Attack and threw a Great Ball and he got in. And fun fact, back then Great Balls were better than Ultra Balls, just due to the weird coding in the game. I didn't know that at all. I thought I was the coolest motherfucker on the block to catch Articuno in a Great Ball. Well, I caught Articuno, and that was like the most mystical and legendary encounter I've ever felt playing a Pokemon game. I didn't know he was there. There was just something weird about that cave, and he was just there. And it felt really magical. There was something magical about it. And I think that was the moment that I was able to just feel, like, just for a bit, feel what they felt back in the late 90s. I think I was able to finally get a grasp on what they felt. Like, I always loved Pokemon, but that moment specifically, that was the moment where it's like, oh my fucking god. I don't know, there's something about that. That's where the magic of Pokemon is. And then even the world itself, Kanto is honestly pretty damn open. Like, I still think Kanto is one of the best designed regions out there. It's so fucking fun to explore and run around. I've played through Kanto several times. Gen 1 is so good. Like, I'm sound like a Gen 1er saying this, but I genuinely think, like, Red and Blue, and I haven't even touched Fire Red and Leaf Green yet. Gen 1 is so fucking good. It is amazing. Even the other early games are good. Pokemon Silver, amazing. I played that. And Pokemon Emerald and Alpha Sapphire, amazing games. I lost my copy of Pokemon Emerald. I'm still sad about it to this day. But I have Pokemon Sapphire, and I've beaten that. I still have it. I even booted up still to this day just to gamble. There is a reason why Trico's my favorite Pokemon. I love Gen 3. I love Gen 3 so much. I love it. Pokemon has a magic to it. I don't know what it is. About finding these mystical creatures. And I think Gen 1 just really puts a nail on the head with that magic. And I think the closest we got to it in this modern time is with Legends Arceus. I know I'm gonna meat ride that game this entire video. Being that we're talking about, you know, all the Switch games and stuff, let's start talking about Pokemon's transition to 3D. Now, now Gens 1 through 5, I would say those 5 generations, peak Pokemon. Actual, just straight peak Pokemon. Diamond and Pearl are I don't know, they're too slow for me. I'm not a crazy fan of Diamond and Pearl. I need to play Platinum still. Every other one, pretty fucking peak. If you want my rating on the Pokemon games, Pokemon like of the first 5 generations, my rating typically goes like off the top of my head, Gen 3, Gen 1, Gen 5, Gen 2, and then Gen 4. So I had to think about the order there for a second because I was like thinking that's not how 1, 2, 3 go. That's kind of my rating. Only reason why I have Gen 5 a little bit lower is because my memory isn't as fresh with that. I want to do a Nuzlocke of that game one day, like a randomized Nuzlocke or just a randomizer. Hey, if you guys want that, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please, I really want to do more content. And I want to do Let's Play content soon. I think it would be really fun. After Generation 5, we transitioned to Gen 6, where now we have 3 dimensions. We got 3 dimensions. All 3, they're coming to the 3-dimensional world, the world that we reside in. And Pokemon X and Y, now these were technically, like, I remember when these games came out, I guess let me talk about my personal story with this before I talk about the actual quality of the games. The Pokemon X and Y, even as a kid, did not make me a Pokemon fan. I started on Pokemon Black and White, and the issue with those games was that I was really fucking illiterate as a kid, to a point where my friend had who owned Pokemon White had to kind of guide me through it, and I'm never gonna forget what the fuck he told me. He told me, hey, if you're the first to throw your Pokeball in, that means you go first. And if you switch out and throw a Pokemon in, then there's a chance you'll be able to go first. Something along those lines. Fucking gaslit the fuck out of me, because like I remember getting so pissed off when my Emboar kept going last, and I'd be like, why is my Emboar going last? Nah, he was just slow as fuck. By the way, all the Gen 5 starters slap. In fact, I think the only starter trio of the first 5 generations that are pretty mid is Gen 2. That's right, I know. I'll take the blow. Come on, put me on a cross right now. I think all the Gen 2 starters are mid. Mid is not bad, by the way. Mid is not bad, because, you know, there are worse starter trios out there now. Also, I do like Meganium. I think Meganium's a fun design. Feraligatr is pretty thick. Oh, we don't want to get... Pokemon X and Y were not the games to get me into Pokemon. In fact, after beating those games, I did not care about Pokemon at all. I thought I thought Mega Evolution was cool. Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. That's the definition of peak. That is the definition of peak. Okay, those games are not peak. I don't want to let you know, Pokemon Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire are not peak. However, as a kid, they were. The animated trailer is what hooked me. And also, this was around the time where I started really getting into the X and Y anime. And this is when I realized the beauty of sub over dub. Yes, that's when I became a sub over dub. I remember that. Does anyone remember watching anime on YouTube where like it'd be really fucking tiny at like the corner of the screen, and then the rest of it will be something random? That's what I grew up on, man. That's how I used to watch Pokemon X and Y. I used to listen to the opening all the time, especially XYZ. Fucking peak. That it's still the best Pokemon anime. X and Y had a lot going for it. It had a lot going for it. But looking back at it today, I've been playing it for a while on my DS. I got Pokemon Y, and I've been playing it for a while, and you know, I think I know why I dropped the game now. There's just something about the game. I don't know if it's just me. It just felt empty. Rushed, not finished. Like, I don't know, like at the post game, for example, there's like the Battle Chateau, which feels like it was just like drag and drop there and just like kind of pasted there. Like it was just barely there. I don't know. It's like I don't care about it. This goes for every battle tower. Actually, I don't care about the battle towers. I think the only one I actually ever cared about was like the Sword and Shield one. There's also the factory that you couldn't go to. There was the train station, and then the realization that Kalos, the region for X and Y, it's just half of France. A little suspicious. And then there's also the thing where like the story just feels really underbaked and corny, almost like, you know, they just had to scrap something together just so that they can publish it. Like, I don't know, the game just feels very cobbled together. The lore is there, but the story is not. After X and Y, we have Sun and Moon. And Sun and Moon, I would say, is overall a lot better. I liked Sun and Moon a lot better, actually. Sun and Moon were pretty damn good games, I would say. I wouldn't say they're like the best Pokemon games, but I enjoyed them, but I have a lot of gripes with them. The hype season for Sun and Moon were horrible. Like, they legit just like showed everything about the game right before it came out. Like, they spoiled everything. So it made the hype season interesting, but man, they really just spoiled everything. And then there's the fact that the game was so dialogue heavy. It was so fucking dialogue heavy. Jeez, like I just started, like, I'm not gonna lie, I started mashing I started mashing A part way in because it was just it was a lot. And also with the fact that like the game was super linear. I think the linearity kind of helped as well, because like I feel like Sun and Moon is like although the towns in Sun and Moon are still small as fuck, they felt more town and city like. I don't know if that's just me. One thing Sun and Moon I think absolutely nailed out of the park is the vibes. Those Hawaiian vibes absolutely fucking nailed them. I think they nailed the vibes of the region, and that's honestly part of the reason why I still debate going back and playing it. Which is funny because I've played through this shit 3 times. I played Moon, I played Sun. Yes, I got both games. The games came out on my birthday, so I asked for both of them. I was happy. I played through both of them. And then I got Ultra Sun. I wish I got Ultra Moon, honestly. The only reason why I got Ultra Sun is because I really hated how in Pokemon Moon, it was nighttime during the day. And for some reason, I hated that as a kid. Nowadays, I think that's cool as fuck. But as a kid, that was like the only reason why I got Pokemon Sun. But it's just, Pokemon Sun and Moon had the vibes. X and Y didn't have the vibes, but Sun and Moon did. But Sun and Moon had another glaring issue. Zygarde. Zygarde was just legit put in the game because he was an afterthought from X and Y. Like Zygarde was like a missing child lost from their parent, and Sun and Moon just had to adopt them. And Zygarde still didn't fit in with the family, and it's pretty sad too. Like, it's cool that he's there, but it's sad because it makes you realize, damn, what could have been with X and Y. And those were the 3DS games, and now we move on to the Switch. There's Let's Go Peak, Achu. A lot of people hated that game. I personally really enjoyed the games. I loved Let's Go Pikachu, so much so that I did a 3rd playthrough of the game where I played the game only with Rattatas, and I am now the Radiking. I still have all the footage, and it was probably the best time I've had streaming in my life to this day, actually. If any of you guys want to see my cringy ass high school self play Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu only using Rattatas, please, and give me some engagement. Let me know in the comments below. I really would love to know that, because that's a video I've had on the back burner for years. But yeah, I think Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are really fun, and I would recommend it to anybody who wants to get into Pokemon. It's very casual, very laid back, very relaxing, and I think that's something a lot of us could use sometimes. They're very fun games. Then after Let's Go Pikachu, Sword and Shield. Is it hot in here? Because damn, that pile of shit is steaming. Yeah, I don't like Sword and Shield at all. I constantly debate with myself if I dislike it more than Scarlet and Violet. Because Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield both did me dirty in equal ways, I feel. You know, both of them to me are like everything that, like, they are both the epitome of everything that's wrong with Pokemon. And honestly, I feel like everything I could say about Scarlet and Violet can somewhat apply to Sword and Shield. But I think Scarlet and Violet, because it's trying to be that next big ambitious game, the problems are even more pronounced. Now that we're done talking about all those games, let's talk about the most recent games, the last two games specifically. My hope and my despair. Pokemon Legends Arceus and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Let's get into the good first. Pokemon Legends Peak. It's so good. It's so good. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Now that it's been a while, I can safely say that it's my favorite Pokemon game of all time. It straight up is. Despite the graphical weird shit. Because honestly, the only issue I would say I have with the game, which is such a minor issue I don't even give a shit about it, is the graphical issues. Yes, for a AAA game that's coming out in the year, what was it, 2021? 2022? I think it was 2021 or 2022. Come on, you all couldn't put more stuff in. But it's also not that much of an issue. I think the art style of the game heavily carries it to a point where I actually like it. The only time I'd say the graphical shit is really noticeable is when you're in the water or on caves. That's really the only time. And also, not to mention, you have the frame rate of birds and stuff and whatever flying Pokemon are in the sky. And that's pretty noticeable, but also not too much of an issue because I understand. Because I'm gonna bring this up with Scarlet. I'm gonna bring it up with Scarlet and Violet as well. But I have a feeling, I could be wrong, but I have a feeling this is all running on a 3DS engine. I could be wrong, but it really does feel like all of this shit is running on the same engine. And I think that this engine desperately needs an update or just a new engine, an overhaul, because I don't think they can keep using this engine, because this engine is not going to be able to keep up with shit. And with Scarlet and Violet, it's very fucking easy to tell. And it feels like with Legends Arceus, they more so had to make a ton of compromises to work around it. You have with the models, how the technique that a lot of games use for when shit is farther away, it's more lower poly than when it's up close. You know, the stuttering of frame rate of stuff that's far away. It's not really a big deal in Legends Arceus, but I feel like when playing Scarlet and Violet, it's very easy to fucking tell. Legends is heavily carried by its art style, and I will always believe that a good art style in a game is that's the secret sauce for an amazing game. Super Mario Wonder, for example, great Mario game, amazing Mario game. Legend of Zelda, amazing. And I'm saying Legend of Zelda in general because every game has a unique art style, and each one low-key slaps. All of them slap. Breath of the Wild with its what was it, cell shading art style, that's so good. There's Wind Waker as well. Oh my god, Toon Link is so good, dude. And then you have Twilight Princess, and slightly more gritty sort of aesthetic. Oh, it's so good, man. It's so fucking good. And then you even have Link's Awakening and the Zelda one that came out just now. I still haven't played it. I want to play it so badly. Link's Awakening is so fucking good. I love it. It's so nice. And I really want Pokemon to take that route as well. And I'm really hoping for Legends ZA, they have a sort of different art style. Like, I hope maybe, like, it's a little bit more, like, I don't know, like, steampunky, maybe? I don't know, French? Because it's a Legends game, so I expect it to take place in, like, maybe during, like, what is it called? Like, some sort of period in France and more specifically Paris, where, like, they're rebuilding and shit. Something like that. There's a term for it. It's not Renaissance. I just want something unique for it. I really want Legends ZA to have its own flair, because, like, even with Legends Arceus, you have, like, the paint strokes and shit for, like, when it does, like, the health bar shit. I don't know if that was just a trailer thing or if that's in the game as well. I need to revisit the game. My TV broke. I know it's on the Switch, but, like, I like playing the game on the TV. So much about Legends Arceus that's amazing, though. The fact they actually innovate on the Pokemon formula. You know, you throw the Pokeball, you catch the Pokemon in it. You actually dodge Pokemon's attacks, because, you know, now Pokemon aren't just, like, static things for you to catch. They're actual fucking creatures. This is that magic that I felt in Gen 1. These feel like actual creatures, magical monsters. And these monsters will attack you if provoked, like a wild animal. They genuinely feel like wild animals. You know, the Starly, they'll fly away from you and stuff. It's so good. It's amazing. And another thing I love about it, that Scarlet and Violet fucks up royally. And this is, like, to me, this is my, like, I hate about Scarlet and Violet a lot. Like, I don't know if anyone else feels the same way I do about this, but the fact that when you touch a Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet, it initiates a Pokemon battle immediately. I hate that shit. Let me walk up to the Pokemon. Let me get close to it. Like, practically able to pet it. Let me at least pretend I'm petting it, you know? Like with the Bidoofs. In Legends Arceus, you can, like, you crouch up, walk up to them, and they'll just be like, I want to be able to walk up to them. Yeah, just kind of mess around with them. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet doesn't have that freedom that Legends does. Which is ironic, because it's like that the whole game's big thing is open world, go whatever, do whatever. Like, hell no. Like, Scarlet and Violet even fucks up, like, the gym order thing, where it's like, tackle the gyms in any order you want. No, bitch, they're all still levels. Like, there's all still level 30 here, level 40 here, level 50 here. It's... Why is... It... Like, it makes no sense to me that they don't scale to your level. Or at minimum, like, depending on how many gym badges you have is what level they're at. Have the trainers' Pokemon, like, not just be, like, all around one level. Like, maybe, like, their first Pokemon is, like, in the 20s, and then their last Pokemon's, like, 23 or 25. Like, they could have done the gym shit so much better. They really could have. It doesn't even help that the gyms are just fucking buildings. Like, they're just, like, copy and pasted buildings. And yes, the gym challenge and stuff is outside, but the towns are all barren and bland and lifeless. Like, even the big metropolis, like, that area is lifeless. Yeah, there's people there, but, like, it doesn't feel like a city. It just doesn't. Like, I half expected in the city area to be like, there would be, like, biker gangs and shit, like, riding around and shit. Like, something like that. Like, there ain't shit around that city. There ain't shit around one of them. Like, there's just one city in the desert. There's just fucking nothing. There's nothing to do there. The only thing that's there is, like, the Armor Rouge evolution dude. But, like, you wouldn't even know he existed unless you looked up a guide. Like, Armor Rouge and Ceruledge. Ceruledge. That's a hard-ass name. I don't know how to pronounce it. But Armor Rouge is, like, my favorite Pokemon to come out of that generation. And it's, like, it boggles me on how you're supposed to figure out how to evolve him unless you look up a guide. There's so many other things I could talk about as well. Like Pokemon Legend. We're just gonna, instead of talking about one or the other, I'm just gonna flip-flop between the two, because that seems to be the route we're going at. Pokemon Legends Arceus, another thing I loved is the slight change to the battle system. A lot of people hate it, but I think it should be embraced. Not for competitive, but for single-player use. Think about it like this. Imagine there's a Pokemon game where when you're doing trainer battles, it's the traditional battle style where first person with the fastest Pokemon goes first, then your turn, then their turn, and it's the classic system, right? But then in the wild, it's the legend system, because in the wild there are no rules. Like, imagine that. Like, that sounds really like, I feel like that would make for a really interesting game. Like, I think that needs, like, I think there needs to be like a combination of the two. That would be amazing. Like, Legends just does so much shit, and then even with crafting, I think that could be incorporated as well into like into new games. Like, what if, like, instead of crafting Pokeballs, because maybe that's a little too advanced, you could craft potions and stuff in the wild, and the makeshift potions that you make are maybe not as good as the ones you can buy in store. You know, stuff like that. And also, just spitballing here ideas, since we're talking about stuff. I would love for there to be a hard mode in Pokemon, but you don't have to do anything crazy. You can also do a thing where it's like it disables potions to be used in battles. I know that really doesn't matter, because Pokemon is a game. One of the things I love about Pokemon is that you can have self-imposed rules, and that makes Pokemon so much fun. I don't think Pokemon really needs a hard mode, but at the same time, it's pretty cool. You know, maybe opponents are always going to have like a Pokemon that's like two or five levels above you. That'd be cool. Just spitballing. There's so much about Legends Arceus I can talk about. And with Scarlet and Violet, there's so much I can talk about with that too. Like the glitches, the frame rate. What else, man? Oh, what else? The fact that the camera is so far zoomed out and moving around just feels horrible. Pokemon barely even follow you, dude. Like in Legends Arceus, they can at least chat with each other, and I actually somewhat prefer that they don't follow you around, because at least it's not disappointing. It's like, it's not as much as a disappointment as it is with fucking Scarlet and Violet. And hell, the Pokemon even chat with each other, and that's so nice. I think it's fun. What else? Oh yeah, the DLC for Scarlet and Violet was really mid. I hate Kieran with a burning passion. I don't care about any of the legendary Pokemon. I think the story for Scarlet and Violet actually ruined the gimmick for me. Terastallization was cool. I'm even okay with the funny little hats, but I hate Terapagos. I hate everything he stands for. He is an op. On sight when I see him, I hate Terapagos. I hate Terapagos. Scarlet and Violet has probably the worst lore in Pokemon. I don't like the game. The only good thing about the story was Nemona's funny, and Arven, has a pretty relatable story, and that's about it. The Titan Pokemon suck. Let's just not talk about all the animations for the Titan Pokemon. Every single one of them. Holy shit, so bad. That's another thing. Can we talk about the animations? This will be the last thing I talk about, because I don't want to rant too much about these games. But can we, like, I just want to show if I have battle footage, I want to show battle footage of Legends Arceus and Scarlet and Violet. Like, the difference is night and day with these games. Like, if I ever decide to make a full-on video, because I would love to make a full-on video dissecting both of these games and how starkly different they are, and it's insane how different they are. Like, the animations in Legends Arceus, like, physical contact moves actually touch the opponent. They actually touch the opponent. They run up and touch the opponent. The animations are good. But then in Scarlet and Violet, like hi-ya, hi-ya, and then 10 feet away, they fucking somehow slash the opponent. Like, what the fuck? It's like, to me, with Legends Arceus and Scarlet and Violet, it's a night and day difference on which one is better. Scarlet and Violet are complete fucking ass. Honestly, fuck, I should have sold that game. I should have sold that game somehow. No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I suck Pokemon's cock too much. Circling back to our analogy that I made at the beginning of the video, Pokemon's now, I would say, in their freshman year of college phase. They're finally starting to mature, with Legends Arceus, figure themselves out. They're going to blunder here and there with, Scarlet and Violet, but they're really starting to kind of figure themselves out. Shit, the TCG game that came out very recently, I'm addicted to it. I love Pokemon cards. Pokemon cards is fun as fuck to me, especially the battling. Yes, I actually battle in Pokemon cards. Honestly, I didn't think anybody did until recently when I saw like a bunch of kids battling each other with Pokemon cards, and I was like up in a tree. I was at like some sort of festival, and I was like up in a tree, and I looked below me and I see a bunch of kids battling, and I was like, damn, people actually play the battle part of the game. Pokemon cards are so fun, so much fun. If you want to learn, get one of the Pokemon Card Academy kits. I highly recommend it. It's so much fun. But yeah, Pokemon, I'd say, is doing pretty well today. The TCG game that just came out is really good. I still go back to Legends Arceus and play it, even to this day. I try to boot up Scarlet and Violet every now and then, and I try to give it hope, and then I realize it's an absolute shit show. There's so many times where I wanted to get into competitive for that game, and then I realize I hate the game, and then I turn it off. Overall, you know, they're starting to figure themselves out, and with Pokemon Legends ZA on the horizon, I think I have hope. Well, honestly, Pokemon Legends ZA is nowhere on the horizon. But what the fuck is going on with that game? What is going on with that game? Please, I need a gameplay trailer, something to chew on. And being that ZA is coming out probably next year, probably around like summer or early year, maybe around March, maybe even February. I just want to talk about my hopes for it. My hopes for the game. Being that Game Freak has a lot of extra time now, I'm really hoping they're using that extra time wisely and fine-tuning things in the game, making sure the game is as good as it can be. They're probably working on the next Pokemon project now, but I still hope like a small team is just going through and just fine-tuning things, making sure the game is as good as it can be, and play testing it over and over. I just really want the game to be at its best. I want this game to be good so badly. It's a Legends game, so it already has my hope. And the fact that it's doing something unique, having it take place in just a city, which I'm so excited for. Like, a Pokemon game that takes place purely in a city is so interesting to me. Especially when you go in with the mindset that, a city is still part of nature at the end of the day. It's just sort of like painted over it. It's a concrete jungle, you know? Like, nature is still there. It's just a canvas that's been painted on in a way. And so Pokemon are still going to be all around there. You just got to look around. And that makes me so excited for how it's going to be. Like, there's that one part in the trailer where that trainer's like battling a Gyarados in the river. Like, imagine doing that in the game. Like, that's so interesting. Not even a river. It's more like a canal. Like, that sounds so fucking cool, man. Almost like GTA-like Pokemon. Like, that sounds so fun. Like, maybe you go in a back alley and you get into trouble with some trainers and now you have to battle them. Like, that sounds cool as fuck to me. And then Mega Evolution is coming back. Probably not even probably. It's the best fucking gimmick. It's so much fun. Is it broken? Is it overpowered? Yes. But is it fun? It's so much fun. It feels Please, I hope my boy Mega Sceptile is back. My goat, my king. I want him back. I also would like to use Mega Altaria because Altaria is also another one of my favorite Pokemon. I love Swablu. I want to plush him. So much about the game. There's so much potential for it. I'm so excited. I hope they still keep a lot of the elements from Legends Arceus in. I could see them doing away with crafting because, I mean, there's not really much natural resources in a city. Like, I know I just said, nature is still there, but, like, you're not going to be finding medicinal leeks, growing out of the fucking cracks, So I hope so. So crafting we can do without. That's fine. Buy the Pokeballs. That's fine. I do that most of the time in Legends Arceus, anyways. I hope they keep the catching mechanic. I pray that they keep the catching mechanic. I want them to keep that. I even want them to keep Pokemon attacking. I don't know how that'll work, being that you're in a city area. Maybe the Pokemon are aware of their environment and they'll attack. So they'll try to make sure they don't destroy any of the buildings. Like, I think that would be cute. Or it'd be interesting, like, maybe the buildings can get damaged. Maybe not to a point where, like, an entire city collapsed, but maybe, like, some rubble will appear and shit. Like, I don't know. It'd be, like, something like that. One thing that I especially hope is that I want the NPCs to feel like people. Legends Arceus got really close to that. How with all the side quests, you can really explore these people, explore their culture, and kind of change their minds on their views on Pokemon. And I think the side quest in Pokemon was an amazing step in the direction, and I really want them to keep that aspect in the next game. Doing side quests for these people in the city, I feel like will be so much fun. I hope they keep it. I'm actually still doing side quests in Legends Arceus. I have them all done, and I just have the post-game ones. And I even have fun with those, honestly. If you couldn't tell, I have a lot of hope for Legends EA, but I also don't. Like with a lot of the recent game Pokemon leaks. Don't talk about the leaks in the comment section. Please do not talk about them at all. What I will like to be talking about is the behind the scenes talking that Game Freak has with like the anime staff and such. And if I can find them, I'll put them on the screen right now. And it's saddening to say the least, because just me reading them from memory, it really does seem like Pokemon is viewed more as a brand and not as a game, if you get what I mean. Like, it feels like they're more focused on the brand and pushing the brand and evolving the brand rather than making a good game. Like, especially with the anime staff, I don't know if it might just be me, but I don't care about the anime anymore. And especially after seeing these interviews, I probably won't touch the anime again for a long while. So I'll just stick to rewatching all the old stuff probably. And I'm really hoping for Gen 10. Like, I hope that they're using this extra time they have to make it the best they can. I really hope. And I've heard other leaks and stuff about the other games, like the multiplayer Pokemon game. I'm very excited for it. But there's still other things I think that needs to happen. Like Pokemon Home, please can we have it a one-time purchase version where all the Pokemon are stored on your device and not in a fucking cloud? I think it's horrible that that all your Pokemon are saved in a cloud. It's scummy. It is actually fucking scummy. It makes me want to hit up one of my coder friends and say, yo, let's make a Pokemon Home, but it's saved on your own device. Pokemon will sue me, but you know, I will happily fucking fight that shit. I will fight that shit with the 100 and... Well, how much do I have in my account, actually? I will happily fight Pokemon with the $65 in my bank account. And even another thing I really want to talk about with the leaks is the X and Y leaks. That's been the most interesting thing to me, because what could have been? Dude, oh my god, like, Southern Kalos is real. Southern Kalos is real. Like, it was obvious, but like, it's real. It's like Whitebeard shouting out the One Piece is real. Southern Kalos is real. We were robbed. We were fucking robbed. That's pretty much everything I gotta say. This has been my ramblings on Pokemon. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it was relaxing to hear in the background. Maybe you got a few giggles here and there. Maybe you learned something new. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe. And also comment down below if you want to see more Pokemon content. Pokemon is one of my favorite media franchises ever. I love the games a lot. Do you want to see Cobblemon content? I would love to do Cobblemon content, especially when I'm done with this Minecraft world. I'm debating on converting it into a Cobblemon playthrough and then having the playthrough take place in this world. So if you guys would like to see that, please comment down below, because this is something I would love to do. PokeMMO is something I would love to get into as well. The randomizer Nuzlocke of Black and White, I would love to do that as well. I would love to do a lot of Pokemon content, honestly. I love the franchise. I want to do a lot of it. So if that's something y'all want to see, please let me know. And after I'm done with the semester, I'll lock in and do that. I might even try to do like a nice little thank you love letter, one that's way more high quality and more, you know, professional than this. A lot more planned out. Thank you all for watching Ethical Gaming. This has been the second to last episode. Today we talked about Pokemon, and next week we're gonna end it off with my favorite game of all time. I love you, Minecraft.